This man had 13 surgeries to look like Michael Jackson. He nearly because of it, and the result was terrifying. His name is Leo Blanco, and he is by far the biggest fan of the King of Pop. He not only loves his music, but dreams of becoming Michael himself. As a child, he started copying the singer's style, learning all his choreography and dressing like him. But gradually, it turned into a major obsession. And at 15, Leo had his first plastic surgery to look like the singer. And from that point on, he didn't stop. So much so that without thinking twice, he began undergoing several very painful surgeries that drastically changed his appearance. He started by reshaping his nose to make it thinner and longer, getting cheek implants, trying to reduce the size of his chin, and much more. Over time, all his efforts to look like the King of Pop started to attract attention, and Leo began to be invited to various TV shows and interviews. But all along, he was harshly criticized for dedicating his life to looking like Michael, and he started being called crazy and obsessive. No one could understand why someone would risk their own life for such a simple goal. Even so, Leo was determined to achieve his dream at any cost, but unfortunately, everything quickly turned into a nightmare, because besides being quite complicated, the surgeries he had were also extremely painful. And as soon as the anesthesia wore off, the pain intensified, causing him to suffer for weeks with swelling and bruises all over his face. In addition, his plastic surgeries weren't cheap at all, costing nearly $40,000. But the worst part was what happened right after the surgeries. He thought that after a few weeks he would feel better and could return to his normal life, enjoying his new face. But the opposite happened, and each passing day brought more pain, to the point where he had to rush to the hospital. Once there, the doctors saw that he was in a critical condition and he needed to be hospitalized immediately. The worst part was that it was all his fault, as the doctors had warned him beforehand that the surgeries would be very risky. But blinded by his dream of looking like his idol, Leo ignored the recommendations and paid a heavy price for it. He had to spend hours in the operating room while the doctors fought to save his life. Fortunately, everything went well and he was able to survive. But the most surprising thing is that just a few months after recovering, he started having plastic surgeries again, even knowing the risks. This time, he had a facelift, which is a surgery that tightens the skin to reduce signs of aging, but it turned out to be a big mistake. Since he was in critical condition, this surgery turned out to be even more painful than the others, and his recovery was almost unbearable. He had to wear a compression bandage on his face to reduce swelling, and for several days, he could barely talk or eat. But the worst part is that in the end, none of it was worth it, and Leo ended up deeply regretting it. Due to his condition, he had to remain completely at rest for months, as any effort could send him back to the hospital. Fortunately, he managed to recover from the surgeries and now has fans all over the world thanks to his resemblance to the singer. But why did he do it? For Leo, Michael wasn't just the King of Pop. He was his greatest inspiration and the ultimate goal in life. That's why he studied for years to absorb the essence of the singer, learning to dance, sing, and behave like him.